Hey guys, welcome back to another speed video, and guess what I'm doing in this video? I'm doing something that I'm about to say I would never thought I would ever do, but I'm fully doing it, and I probably will continue doing it. I am building a community lot, and I'm actually, like the first time in a while, I'm leaving this build actually pleasantly happy with it. So if you guys don't know, and you're new to the channel, I do not build community lots very often. They are a very daunting thing to build. I usually just build homes, but I am working on a save file from scratch, and there has to be community lots. And so we moved into a new neighborhood because we just finished our first neighborhood. Again, so excited about that. It's gonna take me a little bit to get everything polished to the point where we can do the tour of the neighborhood and talk about everyone who lives there. But I'm very happy that we're done with that neighborhood. But now we're the neighborhood right above. I forget I want to say it's called Foundry Cove, and we are building a cafe. So we're kind of leaning in on the New Orleans kind of style again. So I looked up a bunch of just homes and businesses in New Orleans, whatever you want to call it. It's one of those. I think people in different areas call it one or the other. But I looked at a bunch of just references, and I'm very happy with how this looks. It's a 2-story cafe, but there's not really much else to say. Usually in these videos I talk about the lore and all that kind of stuff, but there's no lore. It's just a cafe. It's a cafe on the water. This would be a wonderful cafe to go into because there's a lot of outdoor seating, a lot of plants. I committed to the bit when I said there was gonna be plants, and I use a lot of Strangerville. There is a lot of custom content in this build, but as I was going, I was like, oh wow, most of the exterior is core game, which can't say it's very often because I like to use a lot of windows and doors from just custom content packs. But I used a lot of Strangerville on the outside of this, especially with all the windows and the doors. I think Strangerville just really lends itself to that kind of French colonial, is that the word? Because New Orleans is very French, I almost said French inspired, but French influenced because of colonialism and all this other yeah, it goes it goes deep to my knowledge. I haven't done a lot of research on New Orleans. I just know what I learned in school. I think I had one class in uni that kind of talked about it a little bit, but not a history major. I went to art school. I'm a film major, if you guys did not know. But anyway, I use a lot of another custom content pack I use in this a lot is it's called cold brew, and I use that mainly just for all the coffee stuff, mainly because to put down an espresso maker you have to put it on basically this coffee bar. It can't just go on any counter. So, and I didn't want to use any of what the game gives you, because they're a little bit more, the ones the game gives you are a little bit more Starbucks or that kind of vibe, a little bit more modern, not even modern I would say, but just a little bit more commercial. And I wanted something that felt a little bit more this could be a business that someone owns, and maybe I'll actually make that sim and have them have a home somewhere. Of course they don't live on the lot, because and I really wish you could own cafe lots in The Sims 4, but you cannot be a cafe owner. You can own a bakery, which is just it's with I think Get to Work, and you can own a shop, and then you can sell baked goods, which I have done before. It's hard. It's hard to make money. I think it's just hard to make money in any kind of retail career in The Sims, or I don't know. But yeah, definitely the bakery stuff, I've done it before. And I guess you can technically do a cafe if you make the drinks, but people don't order the drinks. So if they ever did a revamp of Get to Work, which I know they never will, but it'd be really awesome if they did, and then you could be able to run your own cafe. I would love that, because you can run your own restaurant, you can run your own store. Why not a cafe? And then for the outside of this build, again, I just use a lot of Strangerville. That siding is custom content, and then that brick, I forget what that brick is from, but that brick echoes on the inside. So basically the entire outside of the build is this siding, and then there's a little bit of the brick where the bathroom juts out, and then also the interior, it's all brick. Kind of gives it that very cozy vibe. And as you guys can see, this is that cold brew pack I was talking about. But another thing I would love to see in The Sims, if we're talking about things we want to see in The Sims 4, I would love for us to have multi-purpose units. I mean, multi-purpose lots. And I think if The Sims 4 is going to stay around for a while, it's going to come at some point. It's probably going to come in a whole other pack. It's not going to be a base game edition. It's going to be kind of how For Rent kind of changed how we approach are like living in The Sims, and even though like For Rent has its own problems and all that, and do we actually ever all actually I do actually play with For Rent pretty often, never as a landlord, but I do like have my, especially my let's play, that not my let's play, my legacy that I play like on my own time, that one I do use a lot of For Rent, and have, especially when they like leave the house and they don't have a lot of money, they just end up moving into an apartment. But I think in the like future, and since they've already developed the like ability to have like the For Rent aspect of it, they have to be able to develop at some point, and hope maybe they have to redo a bunch of stuff, but I'm hoping at some point we will be able to have multi-purpose lots. I just like what I deeply want is just like you be able to own a store, then live above it, and like actually live above it, or like having a bar next to a cafe or a library next to a cafe, and they both like do their thing, you know, like have their own like people use it for what it's for, because like you can do that with like some things where like they'll use the other things, but like I want, like they have this selecting ability of like grouping like the apartments, like grouping apartment by room, like the For Rent mechanic. So I think that mechanic can not easily, like I don't know anything about game development, I just work in production, so I kind of know how like pipeline stuff, I don't know, none of this is actually, I'm just yapping, it's late at night, I'm making this video late and I'm yapping. You guys can see I just put like all the coffee shop stuff down. There's a register. I don't think anyone will actually use that unless you make this like a store, but yeah, no one's gonna use that register. But basically I think that it wouldn't be the most hardest thing ever to be able to group rooms by a lot type. And that's where I'm gonna end that there. I think what I was saying did not make sense, and me trying to like give myself any kind of credibility did not work. But I think it wouldn't be too tough. I do watch a lot of game development videos on YouTube. Do I know anything they're talking about? No. But I do find it quite interesting. And if I had any ounce of game dev knowledge or even coding, I would definitely try to make a game. But I'm also not the most, I would say I'm like a pretty like creative person, but maybe not to that extent. Like I'm a producer, like that's the like logistic business side of the creative world. But anyway, so right now we are going through and adding decorations. Like I added a little like coffee board, I don't know where that's from. That's definitely a core game, like the normal game thing, not custom content. Also, those stairs, I cut it all out, gave me such a big issue. For some odd reason, it wouldn't let me switch the type of stair it was. And it also wouldn't let me add railings. I cut all of it out, but I had to end up like moving the stairs off out of the building and then add and like everything to it and then move back in, and then it was fine. We still have that railing glitch that I thought was fixed a while ago, where the railings cut into the wall, but that's okay. Another thing, I don't know if it was a great idea, but the only entrance into like behind the counter is through a back door. It makes sense for like The Sims, because then you can just easily just lock that for employees only. But I don't think it makes sense in real life, because what if you had to like go onto the floor to like clean something up, or like clean up people's whatever? You would have to go outside and then inside. So I don't think it's the best way, but it works in The Sims. For the table and chairs, I widely use in this, I use, it's like this Paris Bistro pack, custom content pack, and they're so pretty, the table and chairs. I use that basically everywhere. Outside, I have like a lighter color table and chairs, and inside it's like a little bit of a darker color, a lot of green. If you guys haven't noticed from my videos, one of my favorite colors is green. And I also think just like custom content, even like Sims 4, like the core game wise, they have gotten really, and I think just like what modern culture, I'm about to say modern culture or like modern design, a lot of it's like leaning more towards like a very popular color right now. It's like that sage green, and that sage green is like in everything. Like my bed sheets are that sage green. that's about it that I have in my house that's that sage green. But like custom content and even like Sims 4, like the newer stuff, all has that like really pretty green. So a lot of that green in this build. And I also try to use that, like the like 2 core colors, like kind of, or 3-ish core colors are like browns, like those neutrals, green, and then like there's like orangish red. I try to like put in when I do build. I tend to kind of, I'm one of those builders that tends to concentrate on like color and tone, and that's something I do want to get better at. Less of like getting better at like knowing what colors go together, but more of like mixing stuff. I feel like a lot of times I rely too much on like 3 or 4 different colors in one build, and then I think it all looks good and it all looks cohesive, but I don't think it looks realistic. Also, I do size down all those like those little tea lights. I'm gonna call them tea lights, that's not what they are, but I do size them down for all the like little tables, just to give some more light, because I don't want any overhead lighting in this cafe. And so there's these sconces that are around, and of course that's like not enough, so then I use those little tea lights. I do size them down, and because they have a flight, like a flame, it is like a little weird if you look really close. The flame's like a couple inches off the wick, but like it's The Sims, and like unless you're really zooming in, you're not gonna notice. And like when I say they're a couple, like they're like a couple like pixels off the wick, so you can barely notice it. And then here I'm actually adding a little like computer nook. So this is the second floor. So the first floor doesn't have a whole lot of seating. The second floor has a decent amount of seating. Added like a little computer nook and a bookshelf. I wanted to use the counters, like the actual counters from downstairs upstairs for the computer nook, like the counters you can sit at. But I then discovered that you can't put like you can't put computers on it. Like you can put computers on, especially this one, especially this one, especially. I said especially 4 times, but this one particularly, when you put a computer on it, the keyboard comes off. So I ended up finding a high top table to replace it. But I do like that on this lot, even though it's just like a cafe and you're usually just going here for coffee, there are other things to do. Like there's a computer, there's 2 computers, so you have something that you can come to the cafe to do like homework, or not homework, but like you can write your academic essay for university, or you can read a book, or there's just like other stuff to do besides just get coffee, because I just wanted it to be somewhere like I think cafes were in Get Together, right? They were in Get Together, right? I'm not entirely sure which. I think it's in Get Together, and they do like a good job of like, they make them like club places. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I need to like make more of a effort to go to community lots that give like food and stuff. And my gameplay thing that I'm doing by myself, my legacy. Aidan, none of your sentences make sense tonight. My legacy. I've been trying to go to restaurants more, but like restaurants really are broken. And I even have that like that mod. It like makes the restaurants work better, and it still just like does not work like 40% of the time, or it takes me like 7 hours to get food, which is not great when you're going on dates in The Sims. So when you're trying to go on dates with people, I really love the couches that I put up on this second floor. I just think the second floor is just so cozy. I would love to go to a coffee shop like this. I think all the like wood and darker tones are great. And this is when I committed. So one of the references I was looking at had like the like wraparound porch like in New Orleans, but had a bunch of like plants on the top, and I was like, maybe I could do that. So I started adding some plants, and I started adding more plants, and I started adding more plants and more plants, and I really committed to this entire place is covered in plants, which is like a good thing. I think there's like a lot of, especially in New York, a lot of like the more not super modern cafes have so many plants. So there are a lot of plants in this place, and actually behind it, so this lot is like a decent size. I think it's like a 30 by 30, maybe smaller, but it's like this like building does not take up the entire lot. So I end up adding like a little gazebo / park in the back, just to like have fill up the space. And I'm actually really happy with how it ended up looking, because I actually struggled a lot first, because I just was like, how do I fill in this backspace? And I saw Devin Bumpkin, he like was doing one of his like let's build the world stuff, and he just like made this like really overgrown lawn, which is something that like people are starting to do more because it's better for the environment. So I was like, why not have this park be overgrown? So it's like a very like weedy, lots of like long grass park in the back, and I think it looks really cool. And it's just like a gazebo, a fountain, and then some chairs. You'll see it later. But yeah, I filled the top like floor with a bunch of like outdoor plants, and I never really get to use those like larger plants because they do just like take up so much space. And a lot of times when you're using plants indoors, they're like put against a wall, so you can't like, and some of these plants are not made to be in a wall, like they're supposed to be in like the middle of a room or something. But a lot of times I put them like in the corner or against a wall or something, so then they jut through it. So it's nice to like have them outside, and they look so cool. I'm actually like so happy with how this looked, how this build looks. And I haven't felt that way about a build in a while. So maybe I should get out of my comfort zone and build community lots more. I think I really just did a good job, in my opinion, of like combining references this time. Like I took the time to look for stuff. I think it was mainly because I was just nervous about building a community lot, and especially a cafe, which is not even something I use that often in The Sims. But I'm definitely gonna probably put this one in my own like worlds to play with because I think it's cool. And here we are working on that gazebo. It's a pretty large gazebo. I think I ended up putting 2 tables in it, and then the rest of the park is just a bunch of like plants and stuff. That fountain and making that little circle really really was more. I cut all of it out because I think it took me a good 30 minutes to just like do the fountain circle, and it took me a while. The round pieces in The Sims are still very glitchy, and they aren't the most user friendly, I would say, but I'm happy with how it looks. I hide a lot of the mistakes with the plants I end up putting everywhere. For this like just entire build was just like a process for me. It definitely was one of the probably like easier ones, weirdly enough, again because of all the references, and just like it took a while to like get it, and then once it clicked I was like, oh okay, I know what I'm doing. And once it clicked, it just like went so fast. It still took me, like this build probably took around 2-ish hours to build, like total, like that's how long the footage was. But I did take like a couple breaks in between that, so maybe like an hour and a half total. And I think it shows. Like it's definitely not the most detailed thing I've done, and I definitely think a lot of the inside could be like, there could be more stuff, like the bathroom could be more decorated, or especially like the kitchen in the back and like the counter area I think could have more clutter. But I also want this, like, not that like people are gonna be able to download it because there's not custom content in it till I actually get, and like actually like, I keep saying I need to make a list, and I will make a list at some point. But I want this lot to be usable, and I want people to be able to use it. So that was important to me about not like cluttering everything, especially because like with coffee, like they need to put on the counters, and that takes a lot of work, weirdly. Like it takes a lot of space to be able to put stuff on the counters in The Sims. Have you guys ever been to a boba shop when it was busy in The Sims? Because sometimes there are 30 boba drinks on that counter, and then you order something and nothing can be given to you because they cannot put anything on the counter. But anyway, we're actually getting near the end of this video, so let's jump in first person and I will show you guys around. All right, welcome to the Riverside Roost, which is what this lot is called. That's the lot this was built on, but now that it's a coffee shop, I am calling it the Riverside Roast. Anyway, I'm really happy with this build. I think it's really cool and like vibrant and like a little vintage. So this is the front patio. There's a lot of seating. There's like a little couch area over there, and just like a lot of, I don't know, like seating area. And entering inside, we have more seating, some decorations on the wall, and then this is the counter area. Then entering in this way, we have a pretty small and like simple bathroom, just like the basics. Going past the counter area, we come to this staircase. And then going upstairs, we come to even more seating areas. We have these comfy couches, a bookshelf, and then we even have a computer area so you can get some work done. And then even this like little booth. Out this door is the balcony, which again wraps around. Lots of plants and some seating. And then coming back outside, going through this door, We just have a pretty simple kitchen area. There's a kettle and all the cooking stuff you would need for a cafe. And then back outside, coming around this way, we just have a little dumpster. And over here we have like a little outdoor area that's basically like an overgrown park. There's some benches, there's a fountain, and then we have a little gazebo over here. I'm really happy with how I pushed myself on this build, so make sure to let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.